Welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. I know I haven't been here for like a couple months, really, not regularly. And then today I'm like, oh, let me do all the projects. Hey, what's up? We're gonna do a collective reading, look at this collective energy. It's interesting. I'll leave it at that. What is today? Monday? We have ego, vanity, pride, and Pluto transformation that wouldn't shuffle in. I'm not taking them though, because I wasn't ready to take them. But perhaps you are experiencing an ego death. We all need to do that, okay, at this point in time. It's incredibly important. Whoa. Oh shit, party external coming out. I'm sorry my lighting sucks, it always sucks. How did this get so dirty already? Alright, whoa. Epiphany breakthrough. So with ego death and transfer, it's interesting because these energies are very much like on opposite sides of the spectrum, with party external and epiphany breakthrough. And I'm going to pull in the ego, pride, and vanity with the transformation. So it feels like maybe you're starting to recognize some coping mechanisms or bad habits, whatever it is for you. Maybe you're starting to recognize the way that you are maybe just starting to recognize the way that you've been moving. Guilt and sabotage, yeah. And with that is coming like some shadow work. Maybe you sabotage some stuff because of some partying patterns and whatnot. Been there, done that for a long time. Growth, facade beliefs, disharmony triggers, conflict, self-care energy, family, home, commitment. Guys, I fell out of the fucking ambulance the other day. Like, fucked up my arm. Ego, pride, and vanity at the bottom of the deck again. Assistance, spirit guides, freedom, leap, Uranus. Opportunities, trusting in divine timing. I know you can't really see that. The thing about guilt, that's really like one of the only shadowy feelings out here. And it could have been, you know, maybe you're feeling guilty because you sabotaged something, but there's this facade beliefs here. So I think a lot of the times when we're afraid of, so this process of like coming into consciousness, of healing, it's not easy, and it's not, you don't put a band-aid on shit, right? In fact, putting a band-aid on emotional stuff or feelings is very much avoidant. And so when we are forced, this is the facade card, when we're forced to really look at ourselves and our patterns in order to get to this breakthrough, right, in order to be able to transform, in order to even be able to welcome this growth, allow ourselves to care for ourselves and our energy, you know, integrating the shadow is an essential part of this work, right? If we don't acknowledge the dark parts of us, then we're not fully integrating, right? The thing about guilt and sabotage in particular, because it's the only one that's really out here, guilty conscience can ruin people. And partying is a big way of avoiding the guilt that you feel. I think shame is not in this deck, but I think guilt and shame are very much partners in regards to how we feel about certain things. Shame is more of an external feeling, so people are making you feel shame, which leads to guilt. I don't know, I see shame and guilt as very much together. Because if someone hasn't placed shame on you, I mean, it depends on what you've done that has made you feel guilty. And thinking of the guy who accidentally cut down wasn't an accident. He didn't know that I requested them not to do my fence, but he did cut down my sunflowers. And he brought me sunflowers. So he cut down someone else's sunflowers and brought those to me in a Sunny D container, which was a beautiful gift. It was very thoughtful. I hope he had permission from the other owner of the sunflowers. But all that to say is, because of the time frame that there was between those two incidents, there was a lot of guilt present, and I picked up on that, obviously, with the arrival of the new sunflowers. But it was a couple weeks, so I know that I made him feel bad about that. And because one thing he said was, I feel bad, and I said, you should feel bad. Because I explicitly said to the other guy that he was working with, do not cut down my flowers. They are right here. And he didn't hear, but the other guy didn't tell him either, right? So, anyway, guilt is something that can eat at you, and it can cause all of these other coping mechanisms. Disharmony, triggers, and conflict. When we have a guilty conscience about something, again, guilt is a feeling associated with doing something wrong, and usually you know better. That's why there's guilt, because you knew that you were making that choice and still made it, right? Which is why guilt is also paired with sabotage. It's like a protective measure for holding up your own facade, right? Different faces for different places, kind of situation. Because guilt is the only thing here, I mean, essentially, like, I don't know why, but guilt is like, I think guilt can cause psychosis. It can cause a lot. I mean, when I went through stuff in Los Angeles, I still had a guilty conscience about a few things. And I started to recognize how my guilt was stemming from, is the music too loud? This is a Stranger Things playlist. Guilt stems, or maybe it's not even like a stemming of, but like guilt can cause you to like really lose your shit, right? So your consciousness is your ability to like compass right and wrong. So when you know things are wrong and you do them anyway, that's where the guilt comes from. Because when you know, everybody makes mistakes. So when we make a mistake, but usually it is a protective measure, right? Let's get more cards. I think did I eat an edible? I don't think I did. Anyway, the Twin Flame card keeps coming out, so. Cosmic Purpose, Unexpected Storm, and Higher Self-Activation. What else? What else do we need to know about this? So maybe you shied away. Maybe you turned away from stepping into your purpose. Wow. Maybe you turned away from, you wanted to party. You wanted to come off as someone that isn't fully authentic with this facade beliefs. Or maybe you're still decolonizing or deconstructing from certain beliefs. You know, everyone's journey is their own. These are all things that we all deal with in different measures, right? Because again, it depends on what you did, what you're doing, what you are conscious of, and what you are choosing. And if you are continuously choosing things that you know are not right for you, if they make you feel bad, but they keep you in some groups, they keep you in a loop, they keep people, you know, there's this face is really coming, like face value. So you can't really see it because my lighting sucks, but he's holding, like, the face is like blacked out, and then he's holding the face in his hand looking at it. It's giving that song about that Michael Jackson did, Man in the Mirror. I'm gonna start with the man in the mirror. So when you choose to, because everything is a choice. You have a choice if you want to do this, or I mean, you kind of have a choice. You do have your higher self, spirit guides, trusting in divine timing, and North Node, cosmic purpose. Maybe you're someone who knows that you are meant for bigger things than you are currently doing, and you're not quite sure how to step into that power. You're not quite ready, because you would have to release your, what is that word? Your, like, public image, right? So maybe you've cultivated a pretty, you know, maybe you're popular, maybe you're known for certain things, but it's not, maybe there's not depth there, right? And so you're being very much encouraged to have a breakthrough, to allow yourself to grow away from this shit, right? And unfortunately, I think you're going to be forced to, or not, if you choose. Everyone has a choice, but there are certain things that the energy that you give out will always be the energy that you receive. So again, depending upon what you did with this guilt card, or why you feel guilty, until you clear your conscience, which doesn't necessarily mean that you need to apologize to someone else, but we do have apology and forgiveness. So maybe you are, like, the sunflowers, that gesture was that man's way of apologizing. Even though he apologized to my face, a few weeks later he brought me those flowers, and he didn't say anything, he didn't knock on my door, but he put them right on the fence, so I knew, you know, who else would do that? Why would anyone else do that? They wouldn't. So that was him clearing his conscience around that. You know, it was a miscommunication. Ultimately, it was a mistake. You know, I was just mad because I was pissed off at other men that day, and so to me it was just like, ugh, men are so destructive kind of moment. And he kind of got the wrath of that, which I don't regret. I didn't have a guilty conscience because I didn't do anything wrong. I spoke my truth. Please don't cut my flowers down. I had been growing them for like 5 months, right? And then I replaced them as they were still there. I started planting new seeds, and those seeds took off. You know, I made plenty of videos of my sunflowers. I do need to go and plant them deeper this coming year. But anyway, all that to say is, whatever this apology energy is for you, whatever you need to do to make right with yourself, your consciousness, your, really it's this higher self. Let your higher self guide you, and activation is down here. So that's like the thing, your higher self is the version of you that like doesn't have to worry about any of this bullshit we have to worry about as humans. Your higher self is like your soul. So your higher self wants you to see, look how like prominent these faces are versus this face that you're looking at, right? You don't even know who you are right now. You've become so far removed from your purpose, your higher self. Maybe you're really in your ego, right? That ego card coming out in the beginning. Egos are gnarly. It takes a lot of work to balance out your ego. It takes a lot of humility. I have done videos, collective combos about ego deaths. I think there's plenty of readings probably about ego deaths as well, if you need some extra support with that. But ultimately, stepping into your purpose, what are you called to do? What are you being called to do? How can you alleviate this guilt that you feel? How can you find more moderation in your escapism? Or ultimately, what can you do to remove the need for escapism, right? Have you had this breakthrough yet? Do you know your epiphany? Allow your higher self. Your higher self is always going to make the right decision. Again, with this, oh my god. I feel like you need to apologize to someone because my throat chakra is like tripping hardcore. Writing letters or notes to people that you feel like you need to apologize to. You don't even have to deliver them, but at least it will get the energy moving. So that's a good way you could go about it. In the 12-step program, I'm not a fan of the 12-step programs, but there is that step, I don't know which one it is, maybe 10, 11, about making amends. But I'm pretty sure they want you to like go talk to people head on. I don't agree with that, but you know where you were wrong. So it's like this aspect of forgiving yourself, right? And the thing about it is that if we continue on in these cycles of pretending like everything's fine, pretending we're not, we're someone that we're not, continuing like to party, I truly believe, as someone who lived life in my 20s before, I think that partying is a pretty normal stage of life. At least it was for me. I used to be known as Smashly. I loved to drink and smoke and party. So I think that's a normal part of life. But I think as we, again, allow ourselves to grow, sometimes we have to really take a look at ourselves and be very honest, right? We want to do this so that we can welcome in our gifts, right? Because this cosmic purpose comes with gifts. It comes with abundance and it comes with celebration. So when you step into your purpose, whatever that is, if you need help with that, I did a What's Your Calling reading this morning. So you could check that out. That's all about stepping into your purpose, ultimately. And trust in divine timing, even in your own path, right? And divine timing with this unexpected storm. Maybe you're in a few cycles of karmic retribution, with this triggers disharmony and conflict. If you can recognize hardship or challenges as stepping stones to your own growth instead of like a punishment, right? Because the universe doesn't want to punish us, but they will reiterate until the point is received. Right? I believe I've had like 2 really weird incidences, like falls in the past 2 weeks, and the only common denominator with both of those things were I had a telephone conversation with my mother both of those times. And I'm like, so I feel like energetically I'm being warned not to go backwards. And so I am navigating that. I have some truth to speak to that, my mother, and we are kind of pretending like everything's fine right now. But there is truth I need to speak, but it's just not the time right now. But I'm kind of wanting to leave that door open. But I'm also having some really freaky fucking accidents. So I myself am navigating this as well. I know that I'm better off no contact, but I'm kind of like going at it with my spirit guides, because I'm like, well, if you don't want me to be in contact, then bring other people into my life. Hello, like, if there's this space that has been cleared I need people. I need community, right? So I don't know. It's up to you and your whatever it is you believe, right? We do have Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Stay grounded. Next season coming up, we are in Sagittarius, but around like a few days before Christmas, we will be in Capricorn season. So stay grounded. Right now we're in fire energy, so you may be a little bit fiery. But yeah, when we do this, when we decide to commit to ourselves, this is home and family and freedom, opportunities, and leap. When we choose to take a leap of faith in the direction that we are being, like I'm getting a cartoon where they're like, the person's like up on their heels and someone's pushing them and they're like, I don't want to go, you know what I mean? I'm getting that image. When we resist our own power, the universe is going to give you challenges until you recognize your power. Been there, done that. Again, like I'm sharing with the falls, like these 2 freak accidents that I've had, I'm wanting to blame other people, but it's reminding me of summer when I was talking to someone and I fell and I had a whole bunch of things go wrong within like 2 weeks, and it was my guides like warning me, right? So I feel like I'm being warned. Maybe you're being warned as well, because I feel like I'm sharing that. So I don't know. It sucks, but anyway, let me see. Let's get a couple. Now I'm in my own head thinking about my own situation. I apologize. Let me get some affirmations. What else do we need to know for guidance? So just navigate it, you know? Inventory. I think writing is a really powerful way to release ourselves of guilt and energy. Again, it just gets things moving. You don't have to like confide in anybody, especially if what you're feeling guilty about is something that would not be approved by others, like self-incriminating shit. I believe that you can just, I mean, it depends on, we all know good and bad and right and wrong. Anyway, if you're feeling guilty, just write it down. I'm getting like really intense, not good things that people may be feeling guilty about. I don't feel like I need to speak them, but forgive yourself, and of course, with guilt, the most important thing is the changed behavior. Don't do it again, okay? And if you're feeling like if it's something that bad, if it's something that's like making you feel like you want to do it again, seek support for that, whatever that looks like for you. Collect beautiful moments. Choose to see the good. Adventure is worthwhile. Sometimes you have to take chances and be brave with your life. The impossible is often the untried. Replace fear of the unknown with curiosity. Let it go. Forgive yourself. A dream is a wish that your heart makes. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And be your beautiful self. Regardless of whatever is making you feel guilty, know that before that situation happened, and after that situation happened, even if we have a little bit of healing to do around it, you are a person with a soul. You are worthy of love and forgiveness. You are worthy of growth. You are worthy of being accepted in your full truth. And whatever you have done or whatever you feel guilty about, you are still alive. There's time to recognize it and change your behavior. And that's what life is all about. Life is about learning and growing, and really following our path, right? And I think a lot of the times the harder things that we have to go through are the things that make our wisdom that much greater. Okay? Wow. I'm gonna pull one more fortune for you guys. This was heavy. I hope you're feeling okay. Love is the key to your success. So love yourself, and if you feel like you're having a hard time with that, again, you know, we have higher ups here. We have spirit guides. We have self-care. We have divine timing. Allow yourself the space and time to get through this, but forgive yourself, right? It's epiphany breakthrough. And try not to mute so much with the partying. That usually can make the cycles continue. So, all right, I hope this helps. Have a good one.